There is a rule in Trinidad that parents still teach their children. Do not answer if someone calls your name from the forest. Not until you see their face. Not because strangers wander the woods at night. Because something else learned your child's name first. And it sounds exactly like someone who loves them. In the villages of Trinidad, and across much of the Caribbean, there's a particular kind of grief that folklore tries to name. The grief of a child lost too soon, before they were known, before they were fully here. In Trinidadian tradition, children who die before they are baptized do not pass on cleanly. They do not rest. They become the Dóuen. The Dóuen exists at the edge of things, the edge of the village, the edge of the road, the edge of the tree line where the light stops and the dark begins. They appear as children, small, slight, dressed in simple clothing, but look down. Their feet are turned backwards, heels forward, toes pointing behind them. This is how you know what you're looking at, if you are lucky enough to look before you follow. Their faces tell you nothing, because they have no face. Smooth, featureless, a wide brimmed hat pulled low, casting shadow where eyes and a mouth should be. They do not need a face to find you. They already know your name. This is the part of the story that parents in Trinidad do not tell casually. The Dóuen do not hunt randomly. They hunt specifically. They call children by name, in a voice that sounds like someone familiar, someone safe, a sibling, a friend, the child down the road they play with every afternoon. They learn the name because someone spoke it carelessly, in public, too loudly, where something could hear. This is why generations of Trinidadian parents carried a specific fear, not of the dark itself, not of strangers, of their own voices, of the moment they called their child's name too loudly and something at the edge of the world was listening. Whole naming traditions developed around this fear. Children were given pet names, private names, used only at home, only within walls, only where the wrong ears could not find them. Their real names were kept close, spoken carefully, like something precious that could be stolen. And if a Dóuen learned your child's name, and your child heard it called from the forest, and your child answered, the child would follow the voice, into the trees, into the dark, and would not come back the same, if they came back at all. There are accounts, passed down, parent to child, generation to generation, of children who wandered, who were found miles from home, who could not explain how they got there, who kept asking about the friend who called to them. No one else had seen that friend. There are parents who will tell you they still do not call their children's names loudly in the yard after dark. Old habit, old knowing. Some habits survive because they were never just superstition. Some of them were instructions. But to truly understand the Dóuen, to understand why this story survived generations, crossed oceans, and is still told as a warning and not just a tale, you have to understand where it comes from. And that story is darker than the creature itself. To understand the Dóuen, you have to understand what Trinidad was. A colony, a sugar island, a place where human beings were transported across an ocean and worked until their bodies gave out. And in that world, a world of unimaginable violence and loss, children died, constantly, before they were named, before they were known, before the church that had been forced on enslaved people could mark them as belonging to anything other than the plantation. The Dóuen is what a community does with that grief when there is no other container for it. Unbaptized in a Christianized colonial world meant, officially, that you were lost, that that your soul had nowhere to go. But the people who carried African spiritual memory knew better than to accept that. They knew that the spirit world was not organized by European sacrament. They knew that a child who died without ceremony was not simply gone. They were unfinished. The Dóuen is the unfinished child, the one who never got to be named, never got to be claimed, never got to cross properly into whatever comes next. And so they wander, looking for the living children they never got to become. The backwards feet are not arbitrary. In many West African spiritual traditions, the reversal of natural order signals a being caught between worlds, not fully of the living, not fully of the dead. The feet point back toward where they came from, toward death, even as the body faces forward toward life. They are moving in both directions at once, toward you and away from everything else. In the tradition, as with most things in Caribbean folklore, there are protections. Saint Michael is invoked. Prayers are said over children at night. Certain herbs are kept near the door. But the oldest protection is the simplest. Use the private name, the name only family knows, the name spoken only inside walls, only in safety, only where the wrong things cannot hear it. Keep something back. Keep the real thing hidden. This is wisdom that runs deeper than the Dóuen. It is wisdom about survival in a world that takes things from you, about keeping something sacred by keeping it secret. The Dóuen could not call a name it did not know, and so the name became armor. There's a version of this story that ends with the child coming home, confused, barefoot, unable to say where they went. And there is a version that does not end that way. The people who told this story, who carried it across water, who kept it alive through generations of loss, they told both versions, because both things happened. What the Dóuen teaches is not just fear, it is attention. Pay attention to what your children answer to. Pay attention to what calls from the edge of the forest. Pay attention to what knows your child's name. Before you do. In Trinidad, parents still give their children two names, one for the world, one kept close.